right, so for starters, immediately switch to Victory Bell. They switch to Trevenant. Go ahead, I'm going to get that Leaf Tornado off. You're going to hit me with a Shadow Ball, finish me off. I bring back in Bastiodon. I had a little bit of lag there. Finish Trevenant off with my fast, obviously. Here comes back Nidoqueen. Gonna hit Nidoqueen with a few flamethrowers, with a flamethrower. Nidoqueen does have Earth Power. Luckily, since it's not Shadow, it's not gonna do that much damage. They quick switch to something that I don't really see a whole lot, which is Dunsparce. But that was their big mistake. If I was them, they should have just left in Nidoqueen. But regardless, it probably would have gone my way anyways, just because with Dunsparce in the back, it just wouldn't have worked for them. Bring it back in Nidoqueen, so I'm just going to finish it off using Power Up Punch, even though it's not effective. I'm powered up enough to where it's doing a good amount of damage. And that's that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is all right, we have Venusaur. Venusaur is a pretty common lead now that I'm up to like 2900s. This was when I was a little bit lower, which was yesterday. But yeah. With Venusaur, I don't shield the first one. Or Venusaur can basically get 3 Frenzy Plants off against Bastiodon. They're going to shield the first one. It is pretty rare for them to switch like that, but it does happen. Again, if they bring in Sableye, do not use a charge move. Do not use a charge move. Just shield once, kill them with your fast, and charge up that energy. Super important that you remember that. Now, we're going to use a Sludge Bomb again. Like I said before, they never expect Sludge Bomb. So, went ahead, took care of that Venusaur. Here comes our friend Galarian Stunfisk. Just let Galarian Stunfisk kill your Victory Bell, it's fine. I'm going to bring in Medicham, and game over. Another Venusaur lead. As I mentioned before in the last battle, go ahead and shield that. They switched to Obstagoon, which is a very, very weird thing to do. And I meant to switch to Medicham on this one. Actually, I messed up, but I just wanted to lead this in here just to show you that even if you make mistakes, you can still, recover from it. All right. And now the battle is over. We've won. And then we're going to go ahead. We're going to fight this battle. And this one, I believe, is one in which we actually have yeah, this is a good lead. This is just a best case scenario video. I left it in here just to show you guys. Literally, this is the best thing you could hope for. A lot of times we do get bad leads, but if you get this, you're solid. Again, number one most important thing, do not shield against Galarian Stunfisk. Skarmory's coming back. Gonna go ahead and use a Psychic, take a little, or a chunk of health away. And Swampert in the back, and it's over. So it's super, super important that you guys remember something. I haven't really talked about it in the past, but I feel it's kind of important to talk about. With Victory Bell, a lot of times you kill stuff fast, or stuff kills you fast. So beware of that clock, that timer, and make sure to let it run out if you think that you've switched in too quickly. Trevenant, they switch, I switch. Same thing, just using Power Up Punch. This is why Power Up Punch is so incredibly important instead of Ice Punch. The higher you get, it seems like the more steel you're going to see. I'm seeing a ton of steel right now, and it's really imperative to have that Power Up Punch. So when you do face off against Steel, you can have that available to you. All right, they switched to Galarian Stunfisk. I brought out Victory Bell. I'm gonna use a Rock Slide. I wanted to, normally at the start I wouldn't shield it, but here I really need to get rid of that Galarian Stunfisk, so I don't want to take any chances. I'm going to basically let him do its thing. It's going to get a total of 3 off. It's not going to KO me, but that way I can get a let's see. Well, I was trying to get the Leaf Tornado off, but I couldn't. Luckily, with this one, we can just kill it with our fast. It was the Trevenant was low enough to where it didn't really matter. And that's that. All right, moving on to the next one. We have Walrein. Now, went ahead and switched to Victory Bell because all 3 of our Pokemon are super effective against it, but we don't want Bastiodon to catch a Earthquake. That would be horrible. So I brought in Victory Bell. They brought in their Deoxys, which is a very, very, don't want to say bad choice, but given the current meta of like the Ghost Steel combo, it is rare to see Deoxys nowadays. Not as popular as it was in a few seasons ago. That might come back, but for now, just because of the Ghost domination, you know, you have your Sableye, Trevenant, Cofagrigus. Just it's really, really rare to see it. So here is our friend, and now we're gonna go ahead, let it hit us. Gonna finish him off. And remember, whenever you do, same kind of with Galarian Stunfisk, whenever Medicham goes up against a Walrein, go ahead, use a power-up punch, but don't worry about shielding. It can only get either 1 Earthquake or 2 Icicle Spheres off, which isn't going to kill you. All right, next video against Sableye. Sableye, always let the first one hit me. Gonna throw a Stone Edge. They always shield. If they didn't shield, I would be mind blown. They always shield Stone Edge. So as soon as I basically, Sableye double charges everything. And so I wait for that second one to hit me, and then I'll switch to Victory Bell. They'll get an attack off, which I shield. I shield Victory Bell because I don't want him to die. But it gets Sableye down low enough that if Medicham has to come in, Medicham can take it out. All right, Sableye is down, and then it becomes a matter of Wigglytuff. Now with Wigglytuff, really another important thing. Medicham, you can get a power-up punch and a psychic off. Normally. But in this one, I was just trying, I didn't want to chance it. Like if you switch to Medicham and they switch to Wigglytuff, for example, and you get an extra hit in, then you can get that psychic off. But if they have Wigglytuff in already, then you can't. So just be aware of that in case you switch to Medicham and they switch to Wigglytuff and you get an extra hit or 2 in, you can get a power-up punch and psychic, which will kill it. Or they will have to shield. You can force the shield at the very least. Whenever I go up against Victory Bell, when I'm Bastiodon, I let the first attack hit me. It's going to take me to the yellow, but I don't have to waste a shield. And then I bring in Victory Bell. This person kind of had my team just kind of turned around. I see why, but I think in the long run, just with those 3 Pokemon, Having Bastion in the front is the best. I've never really found Bastion in the back to be very good because one, it limits your ability to have a safe, well, you only have to have one safe swap because you never want to use Bastion as a safe swap. So Deoxys, go ahead, shield that Psycho Boost. I love to put in Victory Bell against Deoxys just because Victory Bell can win, albeit you have to use both your shields. They have to use one, but you can come out on top. So Victory Bell is down. Here comes in Bastion, doing his thing. Just going to finish him off with our fast. Going to take some damage for it, but we're high enough HP that it's not going to hurt us too bad. All right, Deoxys is back. Now bring it in, Metacham. I wanted to shield this. I thought it was going to be something. I didn't think he was going to use Psycho Boost, but it's fine. Lickitungu's in, so this actually worked out well for us. If I was him, he's kind of in a tricky situation. He probably should have left Deoxys in just because I had enough energy that I could really pummel that Lickitung. And so now when he brings in Deoxys, Deoxys can't use a Psycho boost against me because it will lower its attack. So when Bastion comes back in, that counter isn't going to be very effective because you don't have stab going, etc., etc.